Hey guys, Mark here at Blueglow Electronics. We're back in our audio listening room. Told you guys I would give you a much more in-depth dive into the room and the equipment in it. I'm going to start with the room itself, how we built it, designed it, and the acoustic treatment we did for this room. But before we start in this room, I need to give you a little bit of history, so let's go there first. All right, so if we roll back the clock to 2003 when I bought this house that had the barn out back, and when I say barn, you can see here is a barn. There's my young son back in 2003. He's grown and gone at this point, but you can see he's standing all amongst hay. There were this is where they part bales of hay, and up top you see a loft area that was basically a storage place for lots of old wood. So we decided that upper area where the wood used to be stored was going to become our new listening room. As you can see here, we started by framing it all up. Then we had the drywall guys come in, and we used double thickness drywall to help with any reverberation and whatnot, and to help with the acoustics. All right, once the room was finished, then I drew up this little diagram, and you can see here at the bottom a top-down view. This room's 36 feet by 6 inches deep, we'll call it, and 19 feet wide. By the way, for a nice set of corn walls, you need to be at least 15 feet apart, so I was happy about the dimensions I was working here with. Anyway, I took this sketch, made a left side view, a right side view. I laid out the windows, the doors, all that stuff. I bundled all this up and I sent it off to GIK Acoustics. I said, guys, I would like you to help me design an acoustic setup for my room. I described how I was going to be using the room, what I wanted to get out of it. And they said they would send it over to their design team. And a week or two later, a nice guy named Mike Majors replied back to me. We went through a few iterations of things, but ultimately he landed with a recommendation. One of those questions was, how much was I willing to spend here? And I said, let's set money aside. Let's pretend this was your listening room and that we wanted this thing to be absolutely the best it could be for what I'm wanting to use it for, basically a stereo listening room. And so this is the order that I got back. So as you can see here, there's quite a few pieces of acoustic treatment in here, over 30 pieces total. And some of that has to do with the shape of the room. I'll show you here in a second. But you can see here all total, I had, with shipping and everything, $5,348 in this. And, for a lifetime listening room, something I've been wanting to do my whole life, I was all in. So maybe I got sucked into the rabbit hole of don't consider money, just build me something. And maybe that's the most expensive order they've ever sent out. I'm just kidding. But maybe I got sucked in, but I don't know. The room works exceedingly well, and I could not be happier. All right, here's part of the sketch I sent to them at GIK. And what you realize real quickly is you're not dealing with your typical square room. On the left-hand side of the room here, which was behind me in the picture or the video you saw at the beginning, where I'm looking forward at the speaker, you can see in the bottom right-hand corner up here, I drew a little box and I said, speakers go here. But on the left-hand side of the wall, there's 67 inches in height. And on the other side of that, there's a staircase that brings you upstairs. So it's not really the end of the barn on the other side of that wall. And on the right-hand side, I built a little raceway down behind the wall there at the speakers that you can crawl down through. It's about 2.5, 3 feet wide there. So if I want to run more electrical or cables or whatever I want behind the wall there, I have the ability to do that. But you can see then there's multiple angles at play on this because of some of this. And at first I thought this was going to be a challenge for GIK. And what he was explaining to me was this is actually a really good thing because I have less corners than your typical room usually has. And so, the acoustic treatment, along with less corners in this room, was actually a really good thing. You can see I'm 111 inches high here, so we're almost at 10 feet here at the top of this ceiling. And there's a window that goes out the front and looks at the back of my house that I've got there. And I've covered it with some really heavy drapes that help with the acoustics. And an audio expert buddy of mine and I were chatting this past weekend. And as you could tell from my pictures I showed earlier, I certainly love horn speakers. And one of the keys to success with horn speakers is having a high ceiling. So, you know, having this 10-foot ceiling here certainly helps with the sound dispersion coming from those. And so the room is just, I'm super happy with it, guys. Let's walk around the room. Hey guys, we're back in the listening room. Let's go take a look at all the acoustic treatment we put into this room. And I'm going to go down the list as I had it shown on the screen earlier from GIK, and I'll try to read their exact descriptions that they have as we go through this. So back behind, this is a nice mid-century modern credenza. I can't remember the guy that made it, but it's a named piece. It's beautiful. All right, back behind it here, we have got 6, well, I ordered 6 of these bass traps, and they're called the Monster Bass Trap with FRT rectangle with range limiters, 24 by 36, okay? I ordered 6 of them, and then I realized I'm going to have a problem putting 6 of them back here because the way I spaced my electrical outlets didn't really match up with placing 6 of these units. So 5 of them work perfectly. All my outlets then fit in between these. And so that's what we ended up with, was 5 of those here in the back of this. Up next, what we ordered originally were 4 of these 244 monster bass traps with FRT 24 by 48 rectangle, full range. And so these hang on the sides of the wall over here, and I'll talk a little bit more towards the end about the purpose of each of these. And there's 2 on this side and there's 2 on the other side. We'll get to that as we come back around. But once I finished the room, I realized, wow, I've got room here for another one of these on the left-hand side. And I pulled a lot of the speakers forward. So what happens is you really want to catch as sound comes out of your speakers and bounces off the walls near you over here. You don't want it reflecting to your listening chair. And so that's the purpose of these panels on the sidewalls. So I ordered another one, or another 2 of these, and they were, let's see, $74 a piece plus shipping. So let's call it $200 I had in another 2 of these, okay? Over here on this side of the room, just a nice set. The whole room's done in mid-century modern, so some mid-century modern chairs, a nice table. This picture here is painted by a lady in Asheville, North Carolina. There's a place called Atomic Furniture. It's a mid-century modern place, and they make some mid-century. She paints mid-century modern style paintings and frames them in mid-century modern style frames. So I picked this up. It's kind of got this audio sound wave look to it, and the blue and the green tie in perfectly here with this room. But up next, we start running into these, and I have 10 of these, okay? There's 1, 2, 3 of them on this side. There's actually only 2 behind me. There should be 3. And then the other 4 are mounted up here on the angled ceiling. Remember, this ceiling goes up about 6 feet. Then it starts angling upwards to about 10 feet here at where the beam is at. And so we've got 4 of those across over there. And then on the other side of the room over here, you can see 1, 2, 3 of the 244 traps. And then here is where I was supposed to have another 1, 2, 3 of these, let's see there, 4A Alpha Series bass trap diffusers with absorbers, rectangle, with 2D scattering. I'm just reading the GIK material to you. Anyway, I took one of them down because I found this beautiful picture that it ties into this room so well. A local lady here in North Carolina near Troutman painted that picture. I love buying local artist stuff. And it just, you know, it tied in with everything. Color scheme wise, MCM look, whatnot. And I also wanted to, almost all of my record collection is up in the house. And I've got a listing room up there as well. But I wanted to bring some jazz records down here. So I just got me a nice gray cabinet here and started putting some jazz records down here. I actually found a Stooges Funhouse 50th anniversary box set that I had hidden in this closet over here. I completely forgot I even had it. But anyway, I got to take it up to the house. But got some jazz in here. And recently I've been collecting a lot of the Blue Note Tone Poet series of records. So anyway, two of these here. The third one I actually used in my office, right? Up next on the list, we have these 4 monster bass traps with FRT square with range limiters. And these are the smaller. I think they were 18 by 24. There's 1, 2, 3, 4 here across the back wall on the bottom. And then above it are 4 6A Alpha Series rectangles with 2D scattering. And the difference between the ones hanging on the side walls over here, like this, these are 4 inches deep. And these here on the back wall, they recommended 6-inch deep ones. So same concept, same scattering pattern. I got to pick the pattern. I got to pick the color of the material behind it. And so I was just trying to tie the whole room together here in kind of various blue colors, gray colors, weaving in with a little bit of green here and that hint of green here and there. So that kind of makes up that set. And then what we've got is what they call down here in the bottom. And these are little triangles. Hang on, I'll spin one of them out here. They're kind of heavy, but not too bad. You can see here, it's just a little triangle unit on the top and bottom. And they sit together here. Oh man, I can slide them around fairly easily. But there's 2 of these. There's a CT Alpha Series corner bass trap, and that's what's at the bottom. And on top of it is a Demi CT. I think CT stands for corner. Alpha Series corner bass trap. So I've got basically the same as these, but it's built into a corner pattern here. And you can see up top, it goes all the way back into the corner when I push it back. I've got it pulled out slightly right now. But then if you come over here on the other side of the room, I've got the exact same thing back here in this corner, and a nice little MCM table I picked up along the way with some neat little colored knickknacks on it. Over here, this is a door that goes into about a 4.5 foot deep little closet, about 5 feet tall inside. It's got a light in there. I carpeted it and put trim around everywhere. It runs the length of this wall, and it's a little play out for or hideout for my grandchildren one day. Right now I keep a vacuum cleaner in there. Okay, over on this wall then, for the window treatment, I had some custom blinds made out of some mid-century modern looking material here that ties in with the rest of the room. It's really heavy duty and ties in nice with a little couch and a mid-century modern table that we've got going on over here. Chair-wise in the room, just so you know, this chair actually belongs in my listening room up in the basement. I brought it down here because I needed a third chair as I was having a lot of people up here from time to time. I'm still on the search for a nice blue tinged in some way mid-century chair. So it's one of those things when I find it, I'll buy it and I'll know it's the right thing. Absolutely love this this chair here in the room. It's by far my favorite. I don't know the make of it, but it's from Sweden. And then this chair matches the couch over here. But upwards onto the ceiling back here. So if you'll notice on the slope wall going down on the back, there are 4 what they call GridFusors. And if I walk back here, I'm just trying to keep from getting you guys too sick here as I walk around. You'll notice between the beams here in the barn, by the way, these beams, all original. These have been part of this barn for 60 some years now. They're made up of 4 12 by 2s that kind of go together and are bundled together as a support beam here. And this is back when 2 by whatevers were actually really 2 by wide and not not 1.5 inches wide. But anyway, in between the beams here, I've got another 8. So there's a total of 12 of these GridFusors on the ceiling here, all in, all total. And we did take these come white. They're basically styrofoam. Had one damaged in shipping, and so they did replace that one for me really easily. And we took the time to paint these gray, the same color as the ceiling. That was a job and a half, believe it or not. There's a lot of texture and a lot of angles you got to paint when painting these GridFusors, but they And GIK helped recommend the type paint that I would use to paint these with that wouldn't cause damage to the styrofoam. But they worked out well. And I kind of turned them and rotated them. So the whole purpose there is to disperse. All right, over here beside the window, I took down one of these panels. And you can see up here, what I mounted these with are 6-inch French cleats. As you can see here on the back of each of these is the other side of the 6-inch. So it just kind of slides up in there and hangs. And the beauty of the 6-inch wide French cleats, one, they'll certainly handle the weight of these. But two, you have a lot of wiggle room, whether you want to slide these an inch left or an inch right. They don't have to be perfect when you use French cleats like this. But the way we did the French cleats is about where my listening chair is right now, maybe just a little bit in front of it here. I put a tripod up and I used a laser level, and it shot a green laser beam all the way around the room at the height I wanted, and I got that level. And then it was really easy to just walk around the room where I was going to hang these things, like in this spot, and just use a little pencil and mark the height that I wanted. And then it just became kind of a left-right exercise in placing where I wanted to put them. And then I used drywall anchors in behind each of these, so they're not just going screws straight into the drywalls. And I didn't use the drywall anchors that came with the French cleats. I bought some higher end ones. They worked out quite well. So it's super easy to hang this stuff. What took more time than anything really was the spacing of everything, getting the right height, the right left, right, and really just planning the room out before we hung everything. But as you can see here, there's a lot of acoustic treatment going on in this room. Really the only wall that's lacking slightly over here, and I've got 2 chairs here that help with some of that, is where this painting's at. But I got to have a little bit of aesthetics in the room. I will tell you, me and a buddy of mine, Jeremiah, were over here in my listening room about 2 years ago when we were just getting the room put together. I think we had just gotten the acoustic treatments hung in the room and had just finished getting the carpet down. By the way, the carpet plays a key role in this whole acoustic treatment thing, right? You're not having sound waves bounce off of the floor back up to you. And by the way, this carpet, an office in Toledo that we built in our company back in, we were building out a new office building, and an interior designer helped design the building layout. Anyway, they picked this carpet, and I fell in love with it. It's an industrial carpet. I've actually seen it in a few airports since then. It comes in varying colors, but it's kind of a dark blue, light blue, with this streak of green and a little bit of gray mixed in with it. I just thought it was a super nice accent here in the overall room. But back to my story with Jeremiah. Okay, Jeremiah was sitting in this chair right here. I was sitting in my prime chair in the very center of the room there, and we were listening to some music. And I went up. I got up for, I don't remember the reason now. I went over. I opened the door here. I slung it open like this. I went out and I went down the stairs, right? Anyway, I came back a minute or two later with something. I don't remember what it was. And I closed the door here behind me. So when I closed the door, Jeremiah said, "Hey, open that door again." So I opened the door again, and then I closed the door again. And Jeremiah said, "You wouldn't believe the difference in the sound in this room with that door open and that door closed." And I was like, "No way." So I went and sat in my chair. And Jeremiah got up and went up and opened that door and closed that door. And I was like, holy cow, you're right. So I don't know if it's the opening and the closing of the door. I don't know if it's this panel hanging on the door. I would hate to think that one panel makes that much difference, but it did. What it started to tell me was every little bit matters. You might be wondering, what do you do when you got a big, heavy, like a transcription table, or maybe even the speakers we've got in that room? How do you get them up into the room? Well, We built us a ramp over here that walks us right up into the room that you guys saw earlier when I opened the door, and that will walk you right in here to our listening room. And I'll turn on the lights that I have dim way down and get in our listening chair. All right, this is how we like to sit in the room with the lights dimmed in our chair. You guys have the bird's eye view again here and listen to music. So you might ask me a question like, hey, Mark, you spent $6,000 by the time you added in those 2 additional panels there. Was it worth it? And I would go on to tell you that from a couple standpoints. One, aesthetically, I think what I did here tied in well to the room. Kind of the grays, the blues, gives the room a nice kind of pro look to it. Like, hey, somebody really invested some time and thought and energy into making this a very special room to listen to music in. So aesthetically, I'm super happy. Acoustically, I think I have achieved what this room was designed to do and what this treatment was designed to do. I don't know that it is the best that could have been done because this is what I did and I haven't done anything else. But I'm happy with what I got out of it. Listen, pick any pair of speakers up here in front of you, okay? Doesn't matter. The sound emanates forward from these speakers because that's kind of how they're set up to be somewhat, we'll call it unidirectional. And the sound emanates forward, and it makes it directly to your ears, right? And you're like, oh gosh, this sounds so good. The problem is those same sound waves also emanate forward, downward, and bounce off the floor and come to your ears. They emanate out to the left and to the right and bounce off the walls and come to your ears. They emanate forward, upwards, and bounce off the ceiling and make it to your ears. Guess what? They also fly right by your head and hit the wall behind you and bounce back and then come and hit your ears again. And so what your ears are having to do is process all of this information. It's having to take, on top of the beautiful sound you got from the speakers, it's having to take all the timing of all these other signals that are taking slightly longer to get to you because they bounced off the walls, ceilings, and whatnot. Not just timing they're having to deal with. If signals bounce off the walls, they come back to you potentially out of phase. So your ears are having to process the original signal and all these bounce signals that have gotten there out of time and out of phase, and it's noise to your ears, right? And so the goal is the more of that, call it signals that were not the original source directly to your ear, everything else that bounced and got to you somehow, some way, reflected, is noise. And the less of that you have, the better your system will sound. Or better said, the more you will accurately hear the way your system is supposed to sound versus all this reverberation and reflection you're getting from the room. So all in all with that, I am super happy with what I spent here, and I'm super happy with the outcome of all of this. All right, guys, I really appreciate you all being loyal followers and viewers here. I really appreciate you guys giving me comments and continuing to hang with me through my comes and goes. I'm not always able to make videos because I'm traveling a lot for my day job, but I'm going to be back soon. We'll cover a lot of this gear up here. Look, a lot of this gear in this room is temporary. It rolls in and out of here. These clips bales, their own rollers, they don't belong in this room full time. They roll in here and out of here. Maybe they do belong in here full time, by the way. They sound really good. We were playing around in here recently with some new tweeters and crossovers from Kreitz and these things that really made a difference. But anyway, they'll roll back out of here. Other stuff will roll in. These tannoys, they roll in and out. Just about all of these, other than the Western Electric speakers and the K-horns in the corners, have wheels on them. Same with the gear. It comes and goes. I roll them in and out on carts. So we've got lots of gear to share with you guys, lots of speakers, and we'll be doing that over time here in this room, sharing the experience with you. But I just wanted today to cover the acoustic treatment, and we'll go from there. Thanks everybody for watching. If you haven't subscribed, please do so down below. Give us likes, and We'll see you guys again soon. Thanks, everyone.